Oh my god. Probably should have gotten a little bit more ready, but this is all I could really get. Okay guys, I hope this is okay.
Often I am upset that I cannot fall in love, but I guess this avoids the stress of falling out of bed. Are you part of me yet? I'm a little sick right now, but I swear when I'm ready I will fly us out of there. Cut care. Leave. Cut my hair. Cut care. Strangely he feels at home in this place, but strangely he feels at home in this. Often I am upset that I cannot fall in love, but I guess this avoids the stress of falling out of bed. Are you part of me yet? I'm a little sick right now, but I swear when I'm ready I will fly us out of there. Cut care. Leave. Cut my hair. Cut care. Strangely he feels at home in this place, but strangely he feels at home in this.
Baby bats. I choose you as a champion. Say my name so my powers will become.
Beauty is power. The power of being.
From the east side of America, where we choose pride over character. We can pick sides, but this is us, this is us, this is. I live on the west side of America, where they spin lies at the ferry docks. We can pick sides, but this is us, this is us, this is. Don't believe in narcissism, when everyone projects and expects you to listen to them. Make no mistake, I live in a prison. That I built myself, it is my religion. And they say that I am the sick boy. Easy to say when you don't take the risk, boy. Welcome to the narcissism. You're waiting out it under our indifference. Don't believe in narcissism when everyone projects and expects you to listen to them. Make no mistake, I live in a prison. That I built myself, it is my religion. And they say that I am the sick boy. Easy to say when you don't take the risk, boy. Welcome to the narcissism. We're united under our indifference. I'm from the east side of America. I am the sick boy. I live on the west side of America. life's work? How many likes is my life worth? Feed yourself with my life's work. How many likes is my life worth? Feed yourself with my life's work. How many likes is my life worth? Feed yourself on my life's work. How many likes is my life worth? I'm from the east side of America. I am the sick boy. I live on the west side of America. I am the sick boy. I'm from the east side of America. They call me the sick boy.
Snap your W-2 and file Fed and State for free, guaranteed.
So I had like a flower. I'm gonna make it a flower anyways. It's kind of weird plant looking thing. I don't know what I was thinking in the first place, but I'm keeping it. Look kind of
Let's do
like
the work.
a flower. Actually. I don't know what I'm gonna call this. This is pretty random actually. Oh, I love this hand. Oh my god, I love this. Why is there 0 people watching? I feel so freaking lonely. What if I not?
shoes, put it on the news, let's get me dipping. Ooh. Meet me in the back, come a little softly. You make me a circle, honest, fire 10 minutes. Imagine if I make a frown. It would be so cold, honest, fire 10 minutes. Baby, I'm gonna go on now. Make a love, 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 love. Make a love, 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 love. Make a. I'm getting stuck between your teeth. You can save me for later. But boy, already stuck on my back. I'm on the highest tree inside of a volcano. And ooh, jump in the bushes, put it on his let's get me dipping. Ooh, meet me in the back, come on, let's not breathe. You make me go so honest, fire 10 minutes. Imagine if I make a frown. It would be so cold, honest, fire 10 minutes. Baby, I want me to warm it up. Make a love, 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 love. 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 Tastes like a mango, don't let the mango. Imagine if I make you feel the roof. Tastes like a mango, let the mango. Baby, I'ma make you want me now. Cold honest, fire 10 minutes. It'll be so cold honest, fire 10 minutes. You make me go so cold honest, fire 10 minutes. Imagine if I make you feel it out. It would be so cold honest, fire 10 minutes. Baby, I'm a mango, I'm in love with you.
You are your baby's first home, your baby's first protector, your baby's first playground. When you're ready, you want a test you can trust. First Response detects not just one, but all forms of the pregnancy hormone. First Response, because you are your baby's first home. You are your baby's first home, your baby's first protector, your baby's first playground. When you're ready, you want a test you can trust. First Response.
Excuse
All forms
me.
of the pregnancy hormone. First Response, because you are your baby's first home.
Why would I cry?
So what did you guys do? Just go to the park and then let the car stop working? Alexandra? So what did you guys do to the car and the park and then the car stopped working? Are you okay? They just needed to jumpstart the car?
Somebody went and from the single park.
This is so ugly. Joey, this looks like something you would draw. So, like a monster looking guy?
Oh, that's the guy from.
Maybe we never need to do a collage. We'll have some magazines. Can you help, Joey?
I found the things where you're supposed to put them in the car. Parts?
The ones that you're working on?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
I left my phone on the car.
No, it's in my purse. I got it.
It needs to be charged.
Yeah, because I saw that you had it there. It's in my purse. So my purse is in the car. It's good to keep these, huh? These little containers.
Ding dong, who's there? Entitled parent. Entitled parent who? Entitled parent who's going to take all of your property and give it to my son. On today's episode of Voicey Hears Entitled Parents. Even though everyone else has to obey the rules, this entitled mother thinks she's exempt. What does she do to break? And how to others respond? A teenager is playing a game at a
Joey, how do you open that?
The entitled kid wants something.
Singing.
Unfortunately, he should get. And our fan submitted story.
Careful, oh, it's full of water.
Our
Oh, you said you
Cinderella
were
is
here.
frustrated when a possession is broken. Her entitled parent not only doesn't want to help, but expects something out of her. What is it that the entitled parent expects her to do? You'll only find out watching this episode of Voicey Hears Entitled Parents. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell to never miss an episode. And let's get straight into it. This story was called Entitled Mum Disrespects Construction Workers and Stops a Couple from Getting to the Hospital. Even though I'm 14, I don't experience entitled parents all that much. But this is easily the most entitled mum I've ever seen. School had just ended and I'm sitting and waiting on the sidewalk my mum usually picks me up on. For the past 2 weeks, constructors began working on the road across from this one. They had this construction worker stand in front of the road, telling people to go around. Going around this road wasn't a hard task. It was literally 4 turns. Because of that, I was thinking that no one would have a problem with this. This conversation is between the entitled mum and the construction worker. The entitled mother drives up to the worker and rolls the window down. Excuse me. The construction worker walks up to her car window. What's the problem, ma'am? My son has football practice today, and I really don't want him to miss practice. We could get there faster if we used this road. No, ma'am, there is no construction happening on this. What do you mean, no? The entitled mum starts to get loud. I need to get my son to practice. Ma'am, you must go around like everyone else. Are you just gonna let my son be late to practice? You are horrible. You won't even help a mother and her son. What is wrong with you? I can't. Shame on you. Ma'am, I'm getting through this road whether you like it or not. She starts slowly moving forward more on the road. No, stop. The entitled mum stops the car as the construction worker starts getting loud at her. Are you yelling at a mum? Just trying to get her son to... Ma'am, you cannot. Don't cut me off, you pathetic loser. I can see the child in the back seat with a scared expression on her face. Why can't you just go around the block? Because my son would be late to practice. Obviously, going around this street will not take that much longer. Are you a freaky mental patient? Excuse me? That's it. The entitled mother closes her window and gets out of the car. She walks up to the construction worker and they both start getting loud. After about a minute of arguing, there were at least 4 cars waiting behind this woman's car. A door opens from the car behind her. Enter furious father. Hey! He walks right up to the lady. Get back in your car right freaking now. I'm trying to drive my wife to the hospital. She might give birth any second now. And I don't want my child to be born in a car. Where were you? Move your freaking car! But move your car! At this point, the man was yelling so loud, I'm surprised none of the people living here came outside to check. The entitled mom gets in her car, backs up, and drives off. Everyone else then drives off when she's finally out of the way. That was easily the most entitled mom I've ever seen. Again, some of the most classic trademarks of an entitled parent. Completely self-absorbed, and no concern for anybody else's needs on the road. And that's the thing, isn't it? She's so self-absorbed about getting her kid to practice that there's no self-awareness. That maybe there's somebody behind her that needs to get to the hospital. That's why the golden rule was so applicable 2,000 years ago, and it still applies today. Just treat other people how you want to be treated. Actually, now that I think about it, what would an entitled parent in Jesus' time act like? I'm just imagining the entitled parent of one of the people hung next to Jesus. Why does Jesus get to be in the middle? Why doesn't my son get to be the center of attention in the crucifixion? If you guys have any other ideas of what an entitled parent 2,000 years ago would look like, let me know in the comments. I'm very curious. The story was called Entitled Mother Says I Don't Need My Crutches, and her lovely son should have them. A little background. This happened a month ago, so this is still pretty fresh in my head. I'm a 16-year-old male, around 5'10", 5'11", and I had made a recent trip to the doctor's office. After finding out that I had an infection called cellulitis, I received crutches since it was incredibly difficult to walk. Anyway, let's get on with it. In this story is Entitled Mother, Entitled Kid 2, me, my brother, and my mom. Anyway, my younger brother, who was around 7, wanted to go to the local arcade and pizzeria. In this case, let's call it Mike's Pizza and Arcade. My mother, thinking it would be a good idea to go and have some fun, packs us into the car, driving to the arcade. Me, a person who enjoys playing games, couldn't wait to have the fun night ahead of me. But I was in for a rather eventful night. As we enter the arcade, I tell my mother I would be happy to pay for all the credits for the arcade. Since my mother is a single mom, raising 2 kids, I thought it was the least I could do. Back to the story. I take my crippled self over to the counter. My younger brother followed me. I put $30 on his card so they could play, so I didn't really think too much about it until one of her kids takes my crutches. I turn away from the game and say, "Excuse me, bud, those are mine. Can you please put them back?" The kid does put them back and returns to his mother, whining about wanting my crutches. The mother whispers into his ear. I'm assuming she told him to take it again because he took them. I was confused. "Excuse me, miss, could you please tell your kid to give me back my crutches?" "No, I won't. My kids have been behaving so well this week. I thought I would take them to the arcade and reward them with whatever they want." Her kid starts standing next to her, changing the crutches to their height. I am slightly ticked off, but trying to keep my cool. Lady, if you think your kids are and have been behaving, your definition is way off. Your kids just stole my crutches and you encouraged it. At this point, I'm leaning against the machine so I don't fall. "Are you saying that my kids are little thieves? Did you just call me a bad mom?" She takes a step towards me, her kids sword fighting each other with my crutches. "I never said terrible, but yes, your kids are thieves. Now give me back my crutches." My little brother was watching from behind a machine, but I had no idea until he told me he was. "I'm sorry. My kids are such angels and deserve it more than you. Besides, what do you even need crutches for? You look perfectly fine." My foot, she cuts me off, talking about how her kids need these crutches, how they've been good and stuff. At this point, I snapped at her. "Listen, you little defective crap. Give me back my frickin' crutches, and take your little demon children with you." Cussing at her probably wasn't the best option, since my brother and mother had just arrived. My mother staring at me in shock, since I hardly ever cuss. My little brother, who was too busy telling my mum that the lady kids had taken my crutches. Now my mother was filled with anger from me cussing, and that this lady's kid had stole my crutches. My mother walks towards her children, snatching the crutches out of their hands, her kids crying. My mother hands me back my crutches. I change it back to my height, and we proceed to leave. Then all of a sudden, this crazy woman yanks one of my crutches, and I fall to the floor in pain. My mother is now tooth and nails with this lady, trying to get back my crutch, and 2 employees pull them apart, asking what happened. I explained the whole situation to them, and I was given my crutches. The lady was kicked out for harassment. My mother later lectured me on my vocabulary that I'd used and grounded me for 2 weeks. But hey, I got my crutches back. Anyway, this is my story. I get that if your kids have been well behaved, you take them to an arcade, you're gonna give them a treat. But if your definition of rewarding your kids for good behavior is then letting them have bad behavior, especially towards a stranger and stealing their things, I don't think you get the idea of how to actually parent. You're kind of messing up the whole positive and negative feedback to reward good behavior and punish bad behavior. Your kids are going to turn out really messed up, and probably they'll become entitled parents themselves someday. As we all know, the natural evolution: entitled kid, a choosing beggar, an entitled parent, and the cycle continues. This story was called Sister-in-Law and Entitled Brother's Mother-in-Law Indignant Over Baby Shower Gifts. So you thought I'd run out of stories about my entitled brother and sister-in-law? Oh, how wrong you were. This one also involves sister-in-law's mother, and let me tell you, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. This happened just before my first nephew was born. Nephew is not EB's. Not that this matters, but it does lend a bit of relevance, since my sister-in-law essentially roped EB into being a baby daddy when she was 17, and desperate to find someone to support her. I was sent an invitation to my sister-in-law's baby shower, organized by herself. Maybe I'm a bit old-fashioned, but I was brought up with the notion that it was poor taste for the expectant parents to throw their own showers. But perhaps times have changed since then. Anyway.
I thought we would do it like a.
What if I get sleepy?
You're not gonna get sleepy.
Yeah, I may.
But I just really.
Winnie the Pooh, or any Disney theme of time, was way
Power off.